Good day. My name is David Marcet. I am so pleased to have this opportunity to show you some of my work, give you a quick tour of my studio in Hinsdale, Illinois, and share with you my COVID journal, which is a project I took up last March when we all found ourselves living through an episode of The Twilight Zone. So let's have a quick look around, shall we? So as we walk in here, I have my lovely green studio couch. I have a printmaking area set up here for doing block prints. That's actually something I've taken up during the pandemic. I'm aboard of my lovely family. Storage is always an issue in a studio, but make do. I should mention that this is categorically the cleanest my studio has ever been. Design area, more storage, my painting racks, my easel, and all of my gear. And of course, my dartboard. So when I first started the journal, it was really just to have a keepsake to look back on. But as I went along, I realized that it was really divided into three major components. There were the day-to-day experiences of living in quarantine and the unusual experiences that came along with it. There were the social aspects, particularly the unrest that was happening in the country and really around the world. And of course, there was the political component, which I wanted to highlight what I considered to be the extreme dysfunction of the Trump administration and really the 2020 campaign as well, which was really in full stride during this time. I've always had a love of drawing, and I've kept a journal consistently over my life. My own personal work has always been kind of odd and dealt a lot with self-portraits and my own kind of skewed perception of reality and what was already happening in my own life and how I wanted to show that and how I wanted the world to see what I was going through my own eyes. I'd always loved artists like Hieronymus Bosch and been a huge fan of Monty Python my whole life and some of the wonderful drawings and illustrations of Terry Gilliam. And I think I've always been attracted to artists that used humor in their works, Mark Tanzi here, and then artists like Ralph Steadman who brought their own kind of flair to their work, and Hunter S. Thompson who would report on the world but in his own way, and of course R. Crumb, who I'd always admired his pen work. And I was really using this opportunity to kind of work on my pen and ink game. When we first shut down, I had a lot of time to draw. I was really just kind of responding to everything that was happening socially, toilet paper, murder hornets. Barbershops became a big issue, and people, cutting their own hair at home. And I don't know, my mind was really kind of racing with all different concepts coming up. Fires breaking out on the West Coast. Basically people's, inability to be able to interact and touch folks that were moving around when they shouldn't have been. Even the protests and things that were happening, Civil War statues being broken down, and people refusing to wear masks and really resisting things that were really for the greater good. So and my mind really kind of went to different ideas and concepts historically, even popular images of days meshing one to the other. I realized that I started doing more and more portraits of people who had passed away during this time. I think just shining light on sort of tragic deaths that had come up and how you were affected. I don't know. It seemed like everything was more amplified when we were shut in and didn't have a whole lot other things to focus on. There was so much that was happening in the news. It seemed like every day it would have been, a major story, and then they were just surpassed by something in the next day. So, some of it I was approached very satirically. Some of it, I approached very, very, very seriously and kind of gave a certain amount of reverence to, the seriousness of situations that were happening. And but there was just, it was so frequent, and it was so strange that, that a lot of the things just kind of you forget about, and then you look back and like, oh God, I can't believe he said that. And I'd say at least a good half of the journal is mostly my writing and just descriptions of what was going on. But I also was looking for, what the big headlines were, and what really illustrated specific events that happened. A lot bouncing around in social media, so a lot of the times, some kind of headline would come out that would be appropriate. Sometimes it seemed like situations became so huge that I felt like one picture wasn't enough to really, capture the feeling and really the gravity of everything that was happening around us. But, hopefully one day soon things will calm down enough. COVID won't even be an issue anymore, and we can go back to our old, regular, boring lives. So that's my COVID journal. I started the project on March 15th, the Ides of March, interestingly enough. And I'm going to end it on March 15th, 2021. I'm tentatively planning on publishing it. Thank you very much for your time. And look forward to better days ahead. Bye-bye.